Good evening and welcome to Hungary Report, starting with public media and once foreign language news hour. I'm Csenge Gabriela Ibolya with today's news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Let's begin. An informal summit of EU heads of state and governments was held on Tuesday in Brussels. They evaluated the outcome of the EP elections and also discussed who should be put into leadership positions in the upcoming 5 years. The meeting was attended by Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. Regarding the changes to the EU Parliament, he emphasized, Hungarians have declared that they want European leaders who want to stop migration instead of organizing it. They also want to see leaders who respect European nations and defend Christian culture. Viktor Orbán added he will only be supporting candidates that are true to this. The EU's expansion towards the Western Balkans is in Hungary's national security and national economic interest, said Péter Szijjártó in Bratislava at the meeting of foreign affairs ministers of V4 and Balkan countries. He added the Hungarian government is hoping that the new European Commission, compared to the current one, will be in favor of expanding.
We've all experienced that if migration starts heading towards Europe from the south or southeast, then it's a key question whether it can be stopped in the Western Balkans. And if we could finally begin the expansion of the EU, then we could provide serious stability to the Western Balkans, which would mean that they could withstand the pressure of migration much more easily.
The support for building industry companies will expand further. The government is raising the support frame with which they plan on helping the efficiency of small and medium-sized domestic companies by 3 billion forints or some 9 million euros. Currently, the lack in workforce is the biggest issue within the building industry. Laszlo Palkovic said the Hungarian building industry has around 25 billion forints worth of orders till 2023, which is why efficiency and productivity has to be worked on.
This year, we've already announced tenders worth of 18 million euros, which can be used to purchase tools and equipment that help improve efficiency. The Economic Cabinet has decided to continue this in the second half of the year. This means that companies can apply for another 9 million euros worth of tenders during the rest of the year.
The debate regarding the grandparent childcare allowance began on Tuesday in Parliament. If accepted, then from next January there will be an option to have grandparents who are not yet pensioners stay with the children up to the age of 2, or when it comes to twins, the age of 3, and receive the childcare allowance. This is also part of the Family Protection Plan, which was announced earlier by the government. State Secretary Katalin Novák said that with the grandparent childcare allowance, Hungary has taken another step towards becoming a more family-friendly country.
Looking at an average salary, the grandparent childcare allowance means a monthly support of 208,000 forints. Afterwards, the grandparent can choose to return to the labor market if they wish, but since the period that they've spent with their grandchild qualifies as years towards pension entitlement, they can also choose to become a pensioner, just as if they had been working during that time.
Hungary has significant achievements when it comes to the fight against climate change, said János Áder at a climate change summit in Vienna. Those taking part emphasized the importance of quick and real actions. János Áder also talked about how, since 1990, Hungary's carbon dioxide emissions have fallen by 32%. In fact, this was achieved while the country's GDP continued to grow, even though both energy consumption and use also decreased. He added, Hungary has planned even more ambitious targets till 2030.
By 2030, Hungary's electricity production will be at least 90% carbon dioxide free. There are comparatively few countries who will be able to say that about themselves by 2030. The other date, 2050, is a more distant one, and if we continue along the path that Hungary has started on, then by 2050, Hungary's greenhouse gas emission will only be as much as the Hungarian vegetation can absorb and neutralize.
This was the first time that open-heart surgery was showcased to TV crews here in Hungary. An older man's heart valve was fixed with the most modern technology at the Cardiological Institute. The technique, which is considered to be one of the kind in the region, has been in use here in Hungary since January.
Doctors performed open-heart surgery at the National Cardiology Institute Tuesday morning. This is just yet another for them. But for the first time in Hungary, cameras and journalists were also allowed inside. They repaired the rib heart valve of a 77-year-old man using the most modern technology in medical science, a 3D endoscope. Through a narrow cut on the chest, they carried out the procedure using a magnifying glass and a screen. They implanted artificial cords and a ring made out of special materials into the patient's left ventricle. The 8-member medical team worked easily together and finished the job within an hour. The surgery was a success. Patients operated on like this are able to walk on the 3rd day afterwards. On the 4th and 5th days, they can walk upstairs, and they leave the hospital on the 6th day, this doctor explained. The advantage of the 3-dimensional endoscope technology is that it's no longer necessary to open the full chest like in a traditional procedure. This way, the scar is less visible and rehabilitation is quicker. Patients don't need to take anticoagulants and can continue their lives like before. This is a much more complicated procedure that requires a much higher technological level, but even so, it doesn't last longer, and the risks aren't higher, the head physician said. Doctors at the National Cardiology Institute perform about 100 of these special open-heart surgeries each year. They operate on adults and children alike. Since January, they've been working with a 3D instrument that is one of a kind in East Central Europe.
In only 3 days, Pope Francis will be visiting Romania. When it comes to Hungary, the Mass held in Csíksomlyó will be the most important, where more than 100,000 people are expected.
Cardinal Péter Erdő, Archbishop of Esztergom, Budapest, blessed a locomotive at the Railway History Park that will spread the word about the International Eucharistic Congress in September next year. After 82 years, the event will once again be organized in Hungary in 2020. The blessed locomotive engine's first trip will be to Csíksomlyó. The train will leave from Keleti train station on Friday, taking the faithful to Szeklerland in time for the Holy Mass to be celebrated by Pope Francis at the beginning of June. It is with great joy that I bless this locomotive, because it grants the possibility for this engine, wherever it goes, to call attention to our joint celebration, which we hope will bring many people together in love, believers and non-believers, Hungarians and other nationalities alike, he said. Everyone in Szeklerland is preparing for the papal visit. The majority of hotels and accommodation have been fully booked for months now. Works to expand the altar at the venue of the papal mass have also been finished. Organizers are expecting almost 1 million pilgrims to arrive this weekend. A huge Szekler gate adorned with motifs from Csík was also put in place. It was made by local students and wood carvers. The 4.5-meter tall and 8-meter wide oak gate is a symbol of coming together in Szeklerland. Pope Francis will be in Romania from Friday to Sunday. During his stay, he'll visit Bucharest, Jászvásár and Balázsfalva. The Holy Father's Holy Mass in Csíksomlyó will begin at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday and will be broadcast live by public media's Duna channel.
No matter where you are in the world, chances are you'll see a Hungarian-manufactured bus. These legendary Icarus buses, with their more than 100-year heritage, is what is showcased in Székesfehérvár St. Stephen Museum's exhibit. Next to the photos and mock-ups, a couple of completely renovated buses can also be seen by visitors. And an exhibition has opened in Budapest from the works of Katalin Szávos, porcelain designer, which can be seen in the Esernyős Gallery. The artist, who's received the Ferenczy Award, has this time put together a collection of painted ceramics to which she gave the title Lobogás or Flair. The exhibit uses well-known motifs from contemporary art and portrays them in a new light. Visitors have a chance to see the pieces till the 23rd of June. And that's all for now, but don't forget, you can catch Hungary Reports every night after 11 p.m. news and online as always. Do stick around and watch our German, Russian and Chinese language news. Thank you for watching and have a lovely evening.